Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Okay, before I start today, guys, I have to issue an apology and an official correction. So a few days ago, I reported on Charlie XCX and Lorde and their friendship history / drama. I got the timeline of their history from a reputable, I thought, entertainment site. I mean, I still would consider them reputable. However, one of the details that they shared, which I then shared with you guys, was that interview from 2014 where the interviewer mistakes Charlie XCX for Lorde and asks her, how did you come up with the song for Royals? Anyways, that was a skit. And I think that this shows that a lot of us didn't know the lore properly, because I actually normally, when we mess up on this podcast, somebody will slide into the DMs. It's never in any type of rude way. It's always just people being like, FYI, this was slightly wrong or whatever. No one messaged, no one said anything. The only reason why I know this is because I made a TikTok on Centennial World's TikTok, breaking down their history. And that didn't even go viral or anything. It only got 60,000 views. But the comments were filled with the meanest comments ever because I got that wrong. And once I started to see people be like, it was a skit, I obviously looked into it and then I was like, oh my God, I actually am so embarrassed. So, official correction. I didn't fact check properly and I spread some fake news and I am very sorry. So that was a joke. It was a skit. Everything else about that story was real. That skit happened, but it was not a real interview. This is so dramatic, but I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this because I had this mess up around that situation. And I've been obsessed with Brat, the album and the deluxe album. And I've been listening to it literally nonstop. And then yesterday when I discovered that I messed this up, now I just can't listen to it anymore because it makes me cringe. But anyways, I am sorry for spreading fake news. Hopefully Charlie XCX's fan base will forgive me. I don't think they will because they were super, super mad at me on TikTok, but please forgive me. Okay. Anyways, let's just get into the stories today. So the first story that I have for you guys is that Dr. Disrespect has admitted that he was sending inappropriate messages to a minor, and this is what got him banned on Twitch. So this is probably the biggest story on the internet right now. So in 2020, Dr. Disrespect, whose real name is Guy Beam, was removed from Twitch suddenly with no explanation. He had over 4 million followers, which is one of the biggest streamers on the platform at the time. Twitch followers are very different than Instagram or TikTok followers, for example. So 4 million is massive. So he had maintained that he didn't know why he got banned. And over the years, everyone's just kind of chalked it up to some mystery that we might never know. However, on Friday, former Twitch employee Cody Connors tweeted an ominous post, which was essentially widely accepted to be about Dr. Disrespect. He didn't name him, but he wrote, he got banned because got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text, case closed, gang. So everyone was like, this has to be about Dr. Disrespect. And there was just so much noise around this that a few days later, Dr. Disrespect released his own statement. So he said, hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. This was on Twitter. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. So Midnight Society was a company that he co-founded. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, so after Cody published that tweet, another former Twitch employee came out and confirmed to The Verge that this story was accurate. So I assume That is what he means by the 2 Twitch employees publicly disclosing this. He says, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Okay, so this statement also did not clarify, which many people have pointed out, if he did or did not know that this person was a minor, because of course we have seen this kind of situation happen a lot of times, on the internet with different creators. And usually they will say the defense of, I didn't know that this person was a minor. In the case of James Charles, he said that the people that he was sexting, he didn't know. They said that they were 18, but they were actually, 16 or 17 or whatever. He never said that. Dr. Disrespect never said that in this statement. So a lot of people have pointed out that, he probably did know that they were a minor, because if he didn't, if he really felt like he was duped or he just had no idea, he probably would have said that in this statement. And, like I said, this is not anywhere close to the first time that we have seen something like this happen in the creator space. I'm actually, number one, very surprised that Twitch deplatformed him. That's actually a great move. I'm surprised that they did that because we so rarely see platforms take action like that against creators in this situation. I suppose because it was happening on their platform, that was probably the line that they felt was crossed, that gave them the incentive is not the right word, but the okay, the permission, it gave them what they needed to make the decision to deplatform him. It seems to be very easy to foster inappropriate relationships with a young fan base, or if you have a young fan base, because the parasocial relationships for these fans are so strong, and there's already such a power imbalance, such a crazy power dynamic going on there when you are messaging somebody that you watch, who's famous, who has way more money than you, that you're obsessed with, whether you're a minor or not. If I was out here DMing Trisha Paytas, there would be a huge power dynamic, a huge power imbalance, because I have a parasocial relationship with her. So if she was asking me to do things, I might say yes. And that would be even stronger if you were a young person who has been watching this person, looking up to them for so long, this creator, Fame goes to your head and you start to feel like you're kind of untouchable, I think, because you're probably surrounded by so many yes men. There's people constantly wanting to take from you. And I believe that the hype that you get as a famous person, even as a creator, because creators get a lot of hate too, obviously, but I do believe that the hype that you get, it would be hard not to start believing it, right? You're like, well, everybody's telling me that I'm so amazing, and I actually do have this really crazy career, and I actually am really famous, and I actually do make a lot of money. So maybe they're right. Maybe I am special. That would just be constantly confirmed to you, I think, if you were one of the biggest creators on the internet. And so you start to feel untouchable. You start to feel like you can do whatever you want. You start to feel like you are almost like God, maybe. I don't know if that's a big call, but you feel like you can probably do whatever you want, get away with whatever you want, and that you would have such an ego problem. I assume that it's what you're doing isn't actually that bad. I do believe that most of the creators who have been in this type of situation, maybe this is me being too nice and giving them the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't excuse what they did, but I'm choosing to believe that they have justified it to themselves in some way. It's when you think something's not going to happen to you. You're like, oh yeah, there's obviously predators on the internet who are messaging minors, but I'm not a predator, that could never be me. It's no, that's actually the definition of a predator. So I believe that is where some of this comes from, because, whenever anything like this happens, I'm like, how does this keep happening? How is this happening again? So that is kind of my theory behind it, but let me know what you guys think. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys, I don't even know how to cover this story, because Brooke Schofield over the last day has uploaded a 15-part TikTok series exposing Clinton Kane, her ex-boyfriend, and it's so wild. She's talked about the Clinton situation many times before, but this was the first time, I believe, that she has sat down and like told the story, I believe, from like beginning to end. It's so interesting. So you guys have to go watch it. But basically, Clinton is promoting his new album, and he posted a TikTok, says, when you've been over the relationship for 2 years, but she won't stop yapping. And then his song plays over it. So Brooke was like, oh, really? Okay. You want to call me up for yapping? I'll fucking yap. And then she made this 15-part TikTok series. And she talks about how they met. He slid into her DMs. He was like obsessed with her. He would message her all the time. She said she never wanted to meet him because he would always be like, you know, let me fly you out to like Las Vegas. And she was like, no. Then he was coming to LA for a show. So she went to the show. She started hanging out with him with some of her friends. And she got like really into him because, I don't know, she kind of explained it like, she didn't say this, but it sounded like he kind of had swag, you know? They got into a very serious relationship. It sounded like very fast. They basically moved in together like right away. And she said that he wouldn't like let her leave. I don't think they were like officially moved in together. She didn't really clarify that, but they like were living together. And he wouldn't let her leave to go home and like get different clothes. Like he was like really obsessed with her, like constantly staying like basically under his surveillance. He had told her all these things over the course of their relationship getting really serious really quickly. He told her, well, he was, you know, claiming to be from Australia, that his mother, father, and sibling died all within the same year. And he would gaslight her and manipulate her, like almost like weaponize that story against her to get her to do things that he wanted. Like at one point, he got really mad at her for being on her phone when she was at dinner with him. They went on like this weekend getaway and she was on her phone. And he like flipped out being like, my mom neglected me and she would always ignore me during dinner time. And this is like a trigger for me. And she's like, you know, he had this like horrible like story, this backstory. So I just always felt like I had to give him more grace. So there was a few things she said that like started to happen. Like, for example, they got pulled over on the way to this road trip and he gave, you know, his license and it was Australian, but it said that he was born in 1999. So he was lying. I think she said he was supposed to be 1 year younger than her, and it turned out he was 4 years younger than her, but he played it off. He was like, oh, I actually have a fake ID, because she was like, wait, is that actually when you were born? And he was like, no, I have a fake ID. And she was like, who has a fake ID to make themselves look younger? And then he was promoting an album. He went on the Zach Sang show, and on that show, he's talking about Australia and like his family and stuff. And then she said she was in bed with him one night after this interview. He's like yelling at his manager that he needs to get the interview from Zach Sang taken down like at any cost. And Brooke was like, why? So she like gets on her phone, looks on the YouTube video, and there's all these comments. And one of the comments says, not sure where this Australian accent came from, but I grew up with this guy like in the US. I know his family. I went to school with him. I know his family. I saw his mom literally last week. So then she starts looking up his mom. She does find her on Facebook. She sees that the life that he told her that he grew up with was like so obviously not true. Like it was all a lie. She said she wasn't still sure if she was like alive or not. He had like lied to her about everything. Like he said he grew up in Perth, Australia, in some like massive mansion on the beach, that his mom was a pastor at Hillsong, which is like a church here. She had all these different businesses. Like anyways, it all turned out to be these lies. And she talks about how it wasn't until she found out that he had been cheating on her multiple times that she ended up ending it. But like there were so many red flags throughout it. And he had just been this alleged pathological liar the whole time. So it is very interesting. That is my synopsis of it. So interesting. So definitely go watch it. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys is that Sabrina Carpenter has celebrated her first ever #1 Billboard hit. And she has done it by posting a hate tweet, which has been highly controversial. Sabrina posted on Instagram today, my first #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and Espresso at #4. First #1 as in please, please, please. I'm very immensely grateful, so I will surely always remember this day for the rest of my life. And then she thanks her team. So Sabrina had, shared the music video for Please, Please, Please on Twitter. And then this account had quote tweeted her and wrote, "I don't think I've ever seen someone fumble a second single this hard. My goodness." So she had included that tweet in the carousel at the end. So people were like, oh my God, that's so funny. And then that same guy, his name is Chase, that same guy, he went back in and he commented on Instagram and he wrote, "Congrats, Diva, made me eat my words." And then Sabrina wrote, "Love ya, you inspired me." So what has been controversial about this is that this man who tweeted this, she kept his full photo and his handle. So people found him on Twitter and they found this tweet, and the tweet was literally just almost immediately filled up with people saying the worst things about this man, like really homophobic things about this man, just like horrible, disgusting things. And, this is part of a bigger conversation that I'm super interested to hear if you guys have opinions on this, because I don't know where I stand on this. When celebrities or really big influencers post, identifying qualities, whether it's like a photo, a name, a handle of someone who sends them like criticism or hate, I think it probably depends on the level of what they've received. I think if you are like genuinely using hate speech at someone, then if you are, whoever you are, you have every right to post that person, put them on blast. But for this, I think it's a bit controversial because she is so famous, and obviously we know how diehard music stans are, just like celebrity stans in general. People rushed to his Twitter to basically bully and harass him. I'm interested to know how you guys feel about that. A lot of people are like, she should have not kept his name in. She should have not kept his photo in. And then other people are like, if you're going to publicly post something like that, like he posted it on Twitter. He posted it on a public forum. However, the hate did get so bad that he first privated his Twitter and then he has since deleted his Twitter. So that's not a good sign. I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I think she was doing it as a joke. I think we all know that she has like a really cheeky sense of humor. But I do agree that maybe just because she was doing it in jest and like clearly wasn't actually like upset about it. Well, she was probably upset about it at the time, but like upset about it now, posting it in this carousel. She probably should have blocked his handle out. I don't know. Okay, and the last story that I have for you guys, again, this is a long week of news. So Lilah Gibney has been facing backlash for posting content from Alex and Kouvr's wedding before they posted. So Lilah Gibney, we know she's an influencer. She's in the news media a lot because I think she does some controversial stuff, but she also used to be like really close with Tana Mojo. And then Tana and her had a big falling out. Tana and Brooke have spoke about that on their podcast a little bit. So she's been kind of in the media because of that. Anyway, so Lilah went to Alex Warren and Kouvr Annon's wedding last weekend, and one day after the wedding, she posted a vlog titled, "I Caught the Bouquet at Alex and Kouvr's Wedding." So this wedding documented them driving to the wedding, the ceremony, reception, everything. You could basically see like the full wedding. You could see what they looked like, all their special moments. So Alex and Kouvr hadn't actually posted anything formal from their wedding when this vlog went up. They had posted like behind the scenes snippets on TikTok, but they hadn't posted anything official or like formal. So TikTok user at Maddie's Basement posted a video asking people if this was a crazy take that a guest posting a vlog about their wedding was not the right time or place. Quote, "It's a wedding, it's not a theme park," they said. "Imagine it's your turn to go talk to this bride and groom. Oh my God, celebrating your love." And you're like, wait, let's vlog. Okay, so everybody kind of knew that this was about Alex and Kouvr and the Lilah situation. And then Kouvr commented on this video writing period. And then Alex commented on it saying, "This is a very valid take." So clearly they were upset about Lilah's vlog. So now Lilah has responded to the backlash.
Yes, I was personally invited by Alex and Kouvr to their beautiful wedding this last weekend. Yes, I chose to drive 4 hours there because, of course, need to celebrate literally the most perfect couple ever. And then, unfortunately, I vlogged it and posted it, and y'all are very, very upset. So I just want to talk about it. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry if I offended anybody with this video, with any of my content. I thought that cute little VHS video of like literally the most beautiful wedding ever would make people so happy. That's my way of showing my love and affection, honestly, is editing, creating content, my experiences doing things with people that I love. It is so offensive to the whole world and the millions of people telling me to kill myself online right now, but there's no influencer wedding rule book. Honestly, there was no signs. No one said it was unplugged. Multiple people asked the multiple people in the wedding party, can I post? Is it okay if I post? Everybody said yes. There was multiple other content creators posting. I know you guys saw it. And there was also 40 rows of social media content creator people all taking content.
I mean, I think it's just like common knowledge to not post anything, even like an Instagram story. If you have 500 followers and you're on private and it's just your friends and family, like to post nothing of the bride and groom unless you explicitly ask them before you do it. You don't want to ruin someone's moment. I feel like weddings are so sensitive. I actually have been seeing a lot of discourse about wearing yellow to a wedding. I don't know if you guys have seen that on TikTok, but like people are saying not to even wear yellow anymore to weddings because to a lot of people and in certain lighting, it can look white. So there's all these people that are telling stories of them wearing like yellow dresses to weddings and not like even light yellow. Like some of them are showing their dresses and they're like bright yellow, but in certain lighting or to certain people or whatever, it looks really light or it looks white, and they're getting like called out by like the groom's mom or whoever for wearing white when they're actually wearing yellow. So I feel like weddings are just so sensitive and you just have to do your best to like be on your best behavior. You have to follow all the rules. It doesn't matter. Like it's not a clickbait moment. Like this is somebody's like special moment that they've waited their whole lives for. They've spent so much money on. Like it's not for you to monopolize or like take over that moment from them. And that's how I feel on that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to Mini Scroll. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It means so much to me. It helps me grow. It helps me keep going. And I will talk to you guys on Monday, but there will be a deep dive tomorrow. Okay, bye.